What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Broadus Palmer, Cloud Career Coach from Level Up with Broadus. Right now, I have Kanika Tolver, who is author of Career Rehab, Rebuild Your Personal Brand, and Rethink the Way You Work. Now, I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you joining me today so we could talk about your fabulous career. We could talk about how you got into tech and what you're doing now and how you're empowering the people around you.
All right.
So go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
All right, my name is Kanika Tolver. I am from the Washington, D.C. area. I've been in the tech industry in the federal government space for about 15 years. I have worked with several different government agencies, but I've also been on the private sector and worked for Fortune 500 consulting companies. I am primarily in the tech industry in the project management arena, so I lead a lot of software development teams to success. I also am the owner and founder of Career Rehab, LLC, where I help professionals rebuild their personal brand. I help them with career coaching, job search strategy, personal branding, far as LinkedIn and resumes, but then also just finding their passions and purpose within their careers.
Nice. So definitely services and even uplifting people to make it to the next level, because this is what we all need. Especially we on LinkedIn for a purpose, right?
Right.
We're on a professional network or platform for a purpose.
Right.
Now, tell us more about how you got started in tech and what made you start Career Rehab.
So I took the traditional route. I have a 4-year degree from Bowie State University in computer technology with a specialization in internet technology. So this was back around 2005 when I graduated. I was just infatuated with the internet, right? This is a time before social media. This was really when, you had straight up HTML websites were being built. You had Dreamweaver, you had Front Page, you had Publisher. This is before, the web technologies got real sophisticated with like Drupal and WordPress. So I was just like, wow, I like the idea of building websites. Like I love HTML, I love JavaScript. So I went into that thinking I was going to be, a website programmer. Like that's, I graduated, I went into the federal government and I became a SaaS developer for the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So I started off there just doing programming and I got promoted really fast. And then I kind of like stumbled. It wasn't like I planned to go into project management. I kind of stumbled into project management because it's like the more you get promoted, the more you get more responsibility. So I started to become a project manager over developers. So that's kind of how I got into the tech industry. I kind of sometimes wish I would have took more of the technical route throughout the duration of the last 15 years, because there's so many cool technologies that we're going to get into on this interview. But I think it's so important to like know your passions and gifts. How I got into career coaching is like a funny story because I felt like I didn't get the level of support at work that I needed for my career.
Okay.
I was like going up and up and up, making 6 figures before 30. I was a rock star, but I felt like I didn't get the level of mentorship, career development, partnerships at work. So then when I started making it to a certain level, I started to say like, wow, like all these friends and family were coming to me saying, can you do my resume? Can you do my resume? Can you do my resume? And I would do it and they would land the job. But then the conversation shifted to like these real hard career conversations. How do I deal with toxic work environments? How do I deal with bad managers? So that's kind of how I stumbled into career coaching.
Now, with Career Rehab now, since you said how to, work with toxic environments and work with bad managers, these are the top things that you see for people that come to you now that want to transition or advance their career out of the current environment?
I get a lot of people that want to transition into tech that's not into tech.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's a big trend right now. Like, I used to push 4-year degrees. I really don't push that on people anymore. I really push getting the skills and getting the certifications and getting the work experience over the traditional 4-year degree route, because I came up, out I came up under the baby boomer generation who said you had to get a 4-year degree, right? So like my parents are baby boomers. They thought going to college was the it thing to do. That's not something that I push in my career coaching practice for people that want to get into tech. Another thing that I get is I want to make more money.
Right. That's the name of the game, right?
Right.
I mean, we don't come to work for free, right?
Right. If I'm working in a toxic work environment, I might as well be getting paid for it. You know,
Right.
at least if I am temporarily working in a situation like that. And another thing that I get a lot right now is I get a lot of people in their middle age, like in their 40s, that's trying to do a career change.
Right.
Yeah.
I see that a lot too, where someone, let's say, has been a network engineer for the last 15, 20 years in their career, and they trying to go to cloud. And, they feel at this point now they missed the opportunity. But, I just reassure them, you haven't missed the opportunity. You where you're supposed to be at now, right? So it's good that you're thinking about transitioning and building new skills. And I mean, that's what it's all about, right? So tell us more about, do you only help people where you're based out of, or are you virtual? You help people across the country? Tell us more about that process.
So originally I started in the DC market because there were a lot of people that really wanted to change their careers, a lot of federal government employees and a lot of people, of course, in the tech industry. But right now I'm actually taking clients virtually online. So I do take clients online. So a lot of my career coaching for those folks are one-on-one through using web technologies like Zoom or doing virtual video meetings. Another thing that I am going to be doing is I'm going to be launching this year is I'm going to be launching more courses online that people can purchase. I can't be everywhere to everyone at the same time.
Right.
So I think it's important that some parts of my career coaching, career rehab, some of the chapters, we're going to turn some of those into courses as well, and workshops and boot camps and stuff like that. But yeah, majority of my clients are in DC, but I do take virtual clients.
Nice. So would you mind if you can tell us more about what some of those courses are going to be about and how they will help the people that you're currently coaching and new people that want to find you? So
I think since I have 2 backgrounds and I have 2 huge demographics of career coaching people, clients, one I want to do how to be a brand and not a government employee. That's that's exclusive. That's something that I just decided to work on because I have a huge clientele of federal government employees that don't understand that they are a brand even though they work for a federal government agency.
Right.
Their career is not designed or not defined by an administration, by a political party. It's defined by their skill sets, their experience. So I'm trying to shift the federal government mindset. The second half will be how to be a brand and not an employee in tech. Because that's like me. It's like I'm two-faced. I got federal government, like if you just put a line down my face, it's like I got this federal government experience, then I got this tech experience. So I really want to talk to all people of all colors, women, men, about how to really build their brand in tech and not look at themselves like everybody pressed to work for the Fortune 500 companies, but I want them to look outside of that idea of being pressed to work for Google or being eager to work for Facebook. I want them to know that they're a brand, even though they work for those companies, how to shine their light.
Nice. Yeah, because I feel, with me, my transition into the industry, building my brand on LinkedIn, I think actually played a major part into me getting hired, because even though I didn't have the professional technical skills or professional performance skills that they were looking for, one thing that my former boss said to me was, hey, I'm looking at your LinkedIn and I see your videos and I see yourself, you're putting yourself out there and I see that you're hungry. I see that you're passionate.
Yeah.
He was like, I just created a position for you yesterday, because he turned me down for the initial position that I went for. And he was like, I just created something for you yesterday, man. This is what I got for you. And I think me trying to motivate people that were in my same, following the steps or even going through the same things I was going through, and just constantly trying to put out content to share my journey and to let people know that it was okay to come from here and go through here. We're gonna get through the roadblocks that we need to get through. They seen that, and it landed for my first opportunity, and I haven't looked back since. So I think
I think something that you said was so powerful in your story. And, you know, we've been friends for a while and I watched you grow. I think we look at our resume as the end all be all to our experience. And really, it's really about this personal storytelling of how you got from here to there. You know, like you just kind of dropped a gem on that. You know, it doesn't matter what your resume look like. Because you cannot have an experience on paper, but you want to get to another place. But you have to show motivation. You have to show eagerness. You have to show the willingness to learn. You have to show the willingness to be willing to step into a new role that you never done before, but understand what's transferable from the old role into the new role.
Right. Now, I mean, and that's what we all have to look at, right? Even because, like I was talking to you before, we have people that, you know, doing that, telling their story is actually stepping outside of their comfort zone, right? Because they're not even really a social person or even trying to communicate with other people. They stuck with, they want to develop their skills and do the job, right? But nowadays, companies want people with soft skills that's going to be able to communicate,
right?
And taking your brand to the next level and communicating where you're going, sharing your journey, can easily translate to you communicating well with the client that you're working with,
right?
On the job site,
right?
So, man, with that being said, there's some people out there that, you know, aren't comfortable with getting on LinkedIn and reaching out and networking with people and branding themselves. Do you have any tips for them or what they can do to optimize their LinkedIn profile, and how can they reach out to other people and network and brand themselves?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think in the tech industry as a whole, there are a lot of introverted individuals and personalities that you work with. And I think that doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad employee because you don't have, like, I'm extroverted, so I like to talk a lot. But that doesn't make me better than you. You know what I mean? I want to say that off the break, because I think that there are a lot of rock star introverted folks out here that are professionals that just communicate differently and they execute differently. So the first thing, as far as your LinkedIn profile, the one thing that has worked for me and has worked for my clients is, one is when you're looking for a company that you want to go to, it's so important to decide, do I want to go ahead and send the recruiter or the HR person at that company a LinkedIn request with a already defined scripted message that you can continue to reuse to show interest in a role. So, like, I have a pre-developed template that I'm reaching out to an HR specialist or recruiter for a role that I found either on their website or on Indeed or on LinkedIn or any of the job board sites. So I'm kind of introducing myself and my interest in the job. But I'm also kind of communicating to them that I would love to connect with them and talk to them more about the role. And I'm attaching my resume in that LinkedIn DM.
Nice.
Right? Because what you're doing is you're saying, I could apply blindly.
Right.
And just wait to see whether I get accepted, or I can start to connect with the people that can connect me to the decision makers, that can connect me to the interview.
Yep.
Number two is what I do and what I've done a lot. When I started working at Deloitte, it was a huge Fortune 500 company. I was new. I was coming from the federal government space, going into Deloitte as an IT senior consultant. I started to look for all of the people that look like me, and I added them as a connection on LinkedIn. So I went to the top and I searched by people, I searched by company, and I hit the people button. And what I did was I looked specifically in Washington, D.C., and I started to connect. When I joined the company, I started to connect with a lot of people that was in the DC market. And I decided to send them a LinkedIn request with a direct message. And I said, hey, I just joined the company. I would love to meet with you. I would love to connect with you. Can we grab coffee or lunch sometime? Because I'm new to the company and I want to get an insight on, what to prepare myself to set myself up for success at Deloitte.
And that's a great, because you're building that that relationship, right?
Right.
And you're making sure that they remember you or know who you are. I mean,
Right.
like you said, you can apply blindly and wait to see if somebody call. I mean, you might get that call, but you might not, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So with this, you already know that you're typically qualified for the role, right? The recruiters, their job is to keep their pipeline stuff.
You're doing their job a little bit for
Right,
them.
right, yes. So their job is to help you shine and say, okay, yeah, let's build a relationship. And even if you don't get the position that you connected with the recruiter for, the recruiter's job is to, offer other opportunities as well. When they come down the line, they feel that you're qualified for it,
Yep.
because it's making it easier. They have their pipeline and you're a part of their pipeline. So
Yeah.
that's a great tip, because that's going to help people really get further than they ever thought, because they're not even doing something simple like that.
Right. And I think what I've learned is that, like you just said, sometimes they've said, well, we've already filled this position, or you don't have all the qualifications to meet this position. They've come back and said, oh, remember when you sent me your resume for that other position? We had this other new role that's open. Are you interested in interviewing? Sure, I'm interested in interviewing. Because then, look, they found a job for me to interview that I didn't even look for.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's definitely the move everyone should be making. So if you guys listening now, take notes, because this is one thing that could definitely change your career and can help you get your foot in the door that you may just not be doing right now.
Another thing that I wanted to kind of share real quickly is the internal referral system in these companies. So there are a lot of people that you already know in your network that work for some of the companies that you desire to work for. Or as you're introducing yourself to these new people on LinkedIn, they can look at your resume and they can say, oh man, your resume looks amazing. I'm gonna refer you into the system. I already work for the company. That's an easier way to get into as well. And that has happened to me a lot. I've gotten referred by friends into Booz Allen, to all the big companies, because they're saying they will take a referral from an internal employee before they take you applying blindly.
Right. Yeah, because that's how it works here at Linux Academy now, but A Cloud Guru, where I've helped several individuals get positions here. So one thing I say, hey, send me your resume, because our referrals get priority over everything.
Exactly.
The recruiters look at that first. So now, just to pile on top of that, right? So if an individual is just looking to try to brand themselves right now, what is the first thing that you suggest they should do as part of the process, if you have a first step?
The first step is to sit down with a journal or sit down with a sketch pad and to really draw out or put the ideas down in words on what you want your brand to be. I think so many people just jump to the execution phase and they really don't sit and design, like design what your life should look like. Design that out. Think about that. Sit and really think about that, because that's going to, when you design that out and you write those ideas down, you can align those with realistic and measurable goals. So let's just say, hey, I want to go from being a network engineer to a cloud architect. There are things that I have to learn. There are things that I have to do to figure that out. I can't sit here and just blindly start learning all these new technologies that everybody wants to throw out there on LinkedIn and not have a plan.
Right. You're all over the place then.
Yeah, you're all over the place. So I would say build that blueprint. Design. You're the architect. You are the architect of your career. Build the blueprint of what you want to do. Because I've been in a place where I'm like, man, I gotta learn AWS because everybody learn AWS, and I gotta learn Azure, and I gotta learn this. And it's like I was all over the place, and then your career and your brand looks so all over the place.
Right. No, and that's exactly what I see, with clients that come to me, right? And go back to where you said you have to sit, plan, and design where you want to be, right? And what your life looks like. And this is one of the questions I asked them. I asked them, currently what are they doing now, and even going down to salary that they're currently making. And I asked them, so tell me more about where you see yourself in the next 6 to 12
Right.
months. You know, and that's painting a picture. And I'm the type of person, right? Because I have some people that came to me and say, you know what? I just want to get my foot in the door, right? I just want to get my foot in the door. And I'm like, listen, aim higher, right?
Yes.
Say, if you want to be a cloud security engineer or a DevOps engineer, just say that, right? Say, I'm aiming, this is where I want my skill set to be in the next 12 months. Because getting your foot in the door is just part of the process.
Right.
It shouldn't be the end goal, right? You know, because, I'm sorry.
I said what I was going to say is I think you're so right. Because when we talk about branding, we talk about long-term gain, right? We talk about Nike, we talk about Adidas, we talk about Starbucks. They didn't just get their foot in the door with that initial product.
Right.
They was in it for the long term. So right. I like that idea. Go ahead, finish what you were saying.
No, yeah. So and that's what it is. I'm like, believe big, because getting your foot in the door is just part of the process of where you're going to go. So it wouldn't be anything, right? It's nothing. I mean, if you say I want to be, and I'm just making an example, senior cloud security engineer, and let's say it's levels to this. Let's say you have to start, or your journey would be having to start at being a cybersecurity analyst. Yeah. That's a part of the journey. Right. You shouldn't just have your sight set on, well, I just want to get in my foot in the door, becoming a cybersecurity analyst, because that's the end game. That's the goal you're going to see. And once you obtain that goal, you may not look at anything else. You'll just be like, oh, I accomplished this. I'm good for right now. Right.
But that's an employee mindset. And I talk about it in the book, how brands think about the long-term gain.
Right.
Where employees think about, let me just get this job.
Right.
And after you get that job, then you're in a place where you're saying, I got to go back to square one again and figure out now, how can I go from analyst to, to the next level, whether it's senior analyst or whether you go into an entry-level position as a DevOps engineer, whatever it may be. So I think it's important to map that out completely. So that's what I think is important is to start, is to have your goals, have your salary. I always think, like, a lot of things I talk about in the book is when you start off as a cybersecurity analyst, you should be thinking already the next type of salary you try and get at the next tier level.
Right. You should already have that vision.
Right. So if you say 80 is your goal for cybersecurity analyst, you should already be saying, like, okay, within the next 12 months to 24 months, I'm trying to make 100K. If that's your goal, right? In the book, I talk about there's not many athletes or actors that take the same role or go to a new team with the same contract that they had at the last job.
Right.
They always leveling up, but they always thinking in their mind, like, dang, if I go ahead and get with the Cavaliers for this contract, I know I'm gonna stay here for a certain period of time. I'm gonna show that I can really be a good player, and then I'm going to Miami Heat where I want to get X amount of $1 million. We gotta look at ourselves like that.
No, you get it out like that. You hit it on the head, because now you get people to think about, and the way I think, I'm looking at it like this, right? So if I'm on the Miami Heat and I'm going to the Cavaliers, number one, I tell my clients this: you're interviewing them as well, right? So they hitting you up, they pulling you in because they feel they need a talent like yours, right? But you're interviewing them as well. So you need to make sure everything on their end is going to be beneficial for you on your end, not just the salary, but peace of mind and everything. So talk about that, because I know you talk about having a peace of mind in the workforce, and you just stated that earlier in this interview. So let's talk about the peace of mind concept.
So I think it's important when you're interviewing for positions and when you're negotiating your salary to negotiate all the other benefits that come along with that, right? We want to get paid, want to do good work. Everybody wants that, right?
Right.
But I think it's important to negotiate work-life balance, paid time off, training benefits. One thing I really talk about a lot in the book is realistic commutes. Commutes worth the coins.
Especially
a lot of us,
you live at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially these
where a lot of people live at. I don't care if you live in Austin, I don't care if you live in Silicon Valley, I don't care, any major city. We all know that commutes are killing people's lives.
Yeah, 2 hour commute, or you're in the car 4 hours a day, and you're just going to and from work, or even an hour and a half commute.
Right. So I think it's important to negotiate working from home, working remote. In the tech industry, there's a lot of flexibility for that. But I think a lot of people, they go into these mindsets like, I'm just going to wait until after I get the job to ask them to work from home. No, you need to know before you take this job is that's a part of the package, because you don't want to take the job and then your peace of mind be shattered with the idea that you can't work from home.
Right. And I always have the sentence in my head: you ask not because you have not because you ask not.
Right.
And it's almost like, well, some people go into a job like, okay, I really want this job, and they just take whatever they give them.
Right.
Sometimes companies try to lowball you. Let's put it out there.
They do.
They're gonna get the cheapest person to do the job at a senior role. They're gonna pay you a junior salary and try to get you to do
senior level tasks.
Yeah. So no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But when you are a brand, you already done your research on Glassdoor. When you are a brand, you already have competing job offers. See, an employee mindset takes the first thing that they get. And I'm not saying if you're in certain circumstances that you do need a job. I know everybody has families.
Right,
and things
of course.
like that. But when you start getting to a point where you're marketable, you should be interviewing. Like I have a client who interviewed with 2 different companies in the same week. And I told him, I said, the way you counter offer is you counter offer the idea of letting them know that you are actively looking and you have multiple job offers. Because you can't look pressed and desperate.
Right.
Because then you're going to take whatever they give you. But when you say, hey, I'm interviewing with Fannie Mae and I'm interviewing with Freddie Mac, then I also got another job interview with Booz Allen Hamilton. That means you got 3 heavy hitters on the table that could be possibly giving you competing salaries.
Right.
So if you really want to go with Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac and you say, well, Booz gave me 85 and they try and give you 70, then that's when you counter offer for the 85.
Right. Like, hold up now. Let me show you what I got over here. Because, y'all I see what y'all trying to do. You know what I'm saying?
The NBA players do it all the time. You got to look at yourself like you're a free agent out here in these streets.
Yep. Because they need you just as well as you need them.
Exactly. And I think it's all about knowing our career worth. I think so many of us are validated by the idea that we're getting a job offer, that we are minimizing all the things that we bring to the table.
Yeah. No, you really hit that on the head. I really like that. Oh man, I'm gonna have to. We got to do another interview too, man. Because
you can split this up into 2 parts.
No, seriously, right? No, I mean, I really like the conversation and where it's going, because people need to hear this, and they need to understand that the power is in their hands, and they have all the resources now to be successful as a brand. They just, sometimes it may just take, reading a book, sometimes it may just take reaching out to someone to.
Or sometimes it takes a good coach like you. It takes positive reinforcement. I think it's so important in order to really build your brand, you have to have people that are rooting for you. You have to have cheerleaders. You know what I mean?
Right.
You need that. And I think we're scared sometimes to ask for that help.
No, because it makes us, so I think.
Vulnerability.
Right. And sometimes if we focus on being strong where we are weak, I think we'll be in a better position, but a lot of us don't want to go there and talk about our weakness and talk about where we are lacking at, because like you said, it makes us vulnerable, and we just don't want people to see us that way.
Right.
But building strength is about building strength in places where you're weak. You don't want to build strength in places where you're already strong.
Right.
You want to be well-rounded and balanced.
Yes. And it's a constant evolution. Like, you're never going to, one thing about career development, I think we need to encourage people to understand that the buck don't stop when you get to a certain salary. Your learning doesn't stop. Building your network doesn't stop. This is a lifestyle. Having a personal brand is a lifestyle. When you think about Kobe Bryant would have never been Kobe Bryant if he didn't develop a lifestyle of constant progression, constant practice, constant setting the bar high to win championships. If he didn't do those things, he just would have been the bench player that never got no type of recognition.
Yeah, and all about, and we just had that conversation about Kobe, yesterday, me and another gentleman, about just, like you said, regardless of what he was worth and his value, he always worked harder, right? He always knew anywhere he went was going to work out to his benefit as well. And that's what we have to have the mindset of, hey, I know, let's just say people, obviously they do dream for work for Google or Facebook. But even if you come into that interview and it may seem intimidating and scary because you're going through several rounds of interviews and several people, you still have to have that mindset of, look, if they're not going to give me what it's worth, what I feel like I'm valued at, and what I need to have a great work-life balance and to benefit my family, then I got to step. I got to move to a team that's going to value me.
Right.
Because sometimes, like we just said, these huge corporate companies are sometimes depending on management and higher management and everything. They're looking for the cheapest player to do the best they can. And some people will go out here and kill themselves for that small salary.
But I think being a brand is not feeling validated by the brand of the employer. Okay, so let's take a step back. I was talking about this the other day. We have to align our brands and our career needs and wants and our lifestyles with employers that feel good for us. So I talk about dating jobs because I think it's important for us to find jobs that feel good to us. Everybody doesn't want to work for a Fortune 500 company. Their brand may align with that mid-sized company or that startup, and they could be doing amazing, still innovative technology work, and they can still go home every day at 5 o'clock. They can have remote days. They can have a culture that feels good to them. So I think it's so important. You know who you are. Align your brand and the things that you want for your life with a company that shares the same values.
See, now, like, you preaching now. Look, stop.
Look,
keep going.
You know what? I just want people to understand is that we cannot continue to have people feeling validated by the name of a brand that we don't even own.
Right.
People are killing themselves trying to get to Google and Facebook and Twitter. And I'm not discrediting these businesses at all. What I'm saying is your life, is your career, is not about the company. It's about what you want from that company.
Yep. Because once again, we don't go to work for free. We want to make the most money we can doing what we love, right? And a lot of people will say, well, it's not just about the money. It's not. That's why it's important to build yourself and think like a brand, because you can get everything on every scale that you want. And
nothing's, I feel like nothing that you want is unrealistic to ask. If you feel like you want to ask for it, the worst thing they can do is say is no.
Right. Yeah. So in closing, I would definitely ask you to tell the people where they can find you at and where they can find your Career Rehab 5-star reviewed book, multiple 5-star reviews on this. And I actually, before you say that, I actually had a client who read this book first.
Before they got with you.
And then came to me and said, oh, I know, Kanika, I just purchased the book. I've read it. It was amazing. So tell people where they can find you and how they can find your book.
You guys can find Career Rehab on Amazon. You guys can also find it on Barnes & Nobles. And you can also find it on Target. So you can order it online. And we have the ebook version, we have the audio version, and we have the paperback. I think you won't be disappointed. A lot of things we talked about in this discussion is in the book. And I think that, all of us need to take our careers to the next level. I'm in Career Rehab now. So as the author, I'm constantly doing career renovations too, because I want to continue to evolve in my industry and in my business. So pick up Career Rehab now, guys.
Hey, Kanika, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Hey,
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you guys for watching. I hope this session was very valuable. I've even had some takeaways myself. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Kanika. We're on LinkedIn. And also, if you're watching this and you haven't yet, join my Level Up in Cloud Facebook group. And it's a totally free group with lots of value, lots of content, just for people who are trying to level up and build themselves as a brand by learning from the things that Kanika just said as well. All right. So we're going to peace out, and we're going to see you guys later.
Peace up, level up.